If you haven't noticed, but I'm sure you have because you're very smart, the mainstream media seem determined to segregate us. Following the revolting decision by the Austrian government to launch the world's first lockdown exclusively for the unvaccinated, COVID hysterical broadcasters around the world have launched what amounts to a campaign to follow suit. Under the guise of public health, they are actively encouraging a divided society where individuals lose their freedoms if they make what was previously considered to be an undeniable right to choose what they put in their own body. The drumbeat goes ever louder by the day in the media, which has embraced coronavirus restrictions with a weird fervour, as the sick experiment by Austrian Chancellor Alexander Schallenberg to lock up 2 million citizens continues unabated.
As of tomorrow, every citizen, every person living in Austria must be aware that they can be checked by the police at any time. Among other things, we will also check if people have been vaccinated or recovered and the reason for entering public spaces.
Disturbingly, Germany, now battling a fourth COVID wave, has brought in similar measures that would see the unvaccinated banned from restaurants and sporting events in areas with high hospitalisation rates. For months in France, the unvaccinated have been stopped from going to bars or restaurants under a strict vaccine passport scheme. And of course, the government here has already forced unvaccinated care workers to be sacked and is intending to introduce similar plans for NHS workers in April. It's very obvious to me how the compliant media feel about this form of health apartheid. They love it. So we have the Jeremy Vine show, for example, asking, should the UK impose a lockdown on those who haven't had the COVID vaccine? They've done it in Austria and they're thinking about doing it in Germany. It means unvaccinated people can only leave their homes for work or to buy food. Do we need a similar rule here? No, we don't. And the fact you're asking that question rather than examining the clear human rights violation going on in Austria is a disgrace, in my opinion. And Good Morning Britain, the most hysterical and pro-lockdown of all British TV shows, has predictably followed suit, asking unvaccinated Germans could face lockdown within days as COVID cases surge. So with Boris Johnson refusing to rule out tighter restrictions ahead of Christmas, should we consider doing the same? Is it fair to lock down the unvaccinated? Fair? Are you kidding me? Do you even have to ask that? Of course it's not. And an idiot could see that. I blame the media normalising this form of segregation rather than reporting on the outrage from everyday Brits who find it despicable. And that includes, by the way, those who are happily double vaccinated like myself who believe coercion and mandates are a slippery slope towards a biosecurity state where freedom of choice is removed. Unfortunately, lots of free societies around the world have become COVID paranoid hermit kingdoms, and they're not helping. So you have the COVID dictator of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, who has illegally blocked 1 million dual Kiwi citizens like me from returning home to see our families for nearly 2 years. We have her boasting about creating a two-tier society.
So you basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is, so yep.
And Australia isn't much better. Look at this truly dystopian piece of television being run on its popular Channel 7 breakfast show this morning, encouraging their millions of viewers to uninvite vaccinated relatives from Christmas celebrations.
Now, as Christmas approaches, many of us will be faced with a new dilemma: how to handle unvaccinated loved ones and whether you should spend time with them over the festive season, sit next to them at Christmas dinner.
So how do you find out who is vaccinated and how do you decide whether to invite them over for Christmas lunch? We've got the tips and the tricks to help you avoid awkward encounters.
Really? If these conversations in the media were honest and took into account factors like natural and T-cell immunity, the most powerful protection from COVID-19, then maybe I could take them even slightly seriously. But they don't. So here's a newsflash to our broadcasters still desperately pushing the lockdown narrative. We are an 80% vaccinated country. We believe in personal choice as a fundamental plank of our society, and COVID-19 is fast becoming endemic. with a 0.096% death rate. I like to repeat that because no one else in the media talks about it. 0.096% death rate, comparable to the flu, also something that no one likes to talk about. But regardless of that, a segregated society should never be the answer, no matter what the question. History has taught us that.